Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to continue to take a look at the scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode we saw the outbreak of World War One, and today we're going to see how this World War plays out. You should go back and rewatch watch that episode if you didn't already, because it's pretty important. But yeah, we're going to start here where everything started, where the Dutch are going to, since they already had troops there, they're going to start invading into here. Until eventually it's stalemated. Yeah. But now let's go and take a look at another colonial front, because Catalonia and Portugal are now fighting. And we can see Portugal starting to invade into Cuba and all of the Caribbean islands. It's going to be a pretty swift invasion, like they literally control almost everything now. There's nope, they're everything dying. Here though it's a different story. Catalonia managed to get a defensive front here, and also they will discover this island. Yeah, they will manage to get a defensive front here and not lose everything for now. Meanwhile, we should really take a look here in the African front, because Catalonia started winning. They made some really good advancements, and yeah, they're completely changing. Pretty cool. Now let's go over here to Asia, where Indonesia is fighting against the Philippines. And they start winning. And they start really doing really good. They get all of the Borneo. But then something really bad happened. The dictator of Indonesia passed away. It's dead. It isn't alive anymore. And it doesn't have a son. So yeah, the entire state is now in chaos. A military general will try to take over the country, but they will fail. And so, you guessed it, Indonesia collapses. And they go away from the war. Yup, that was really fast. Oh, it didn't get assassinated, by the way, leader. So we're going to see here a country form. Nope, not like that. Give me a minute. Okay, so we see here what happened to Indonesia. In the Cambodia, a new country forms. Myanmar and South China take some land. Here, this island, I think it's the island where the capital of Indonesia is, like Jakarta or something. But like, yeah, it's independent now. Also here, Timor, yeah, all of the countries that were part of, they get independence. Here we see Australia getting their independence. We see Papua, we see East Papua and West Papua forming. Nope, not like. And we see the central government of Indonesia remaining Borneo and the remaining islands. Surprisingly, they will decide to keep fighting. But then the Asian League is going to offer them to get Borneo, and the Asian front of World War One is over. Well, kind of, for now. Yeah, let's go to Europe now. It's where the majority of Kaliningrad troops are, where they're absolutely doing good against the Republic. Like, they also march into Hungary. And they also get a bit of Crimea, but then eventually the front is stalemated after this win. Yeah, it's not that good. And also the Dutch aren't going to do really that much against the body. They're actually going to lose land. Like they're going to lose a battle, and then they made it. Yeah, the initial phases of the war aren't that much. You know. Yeah, there is also colonial fighting. Yeah, did we already see? Oh no, the Dutch are fighting against Chad. They didn't really have that much of an army. So yeah, they're going to do like this. Yep, this is the colonial front. And they realized that the colony of Arabia in Africa looks like the goal team, like in this pro week, so Ethiopia. I didn't do it on purpose. Oh yeah, there is also here the Indian front where the colony of Indonesia, yeah, it fell into Indian hands. And also the Portuguese colony lost a bit. Alright, this is how the war is playing out for now. But now we actually see a power hungry a country which lost a lot of things and wants to become a stronger power again. And it's Mongolia. They joined the war on the side of Kaliningrad, the Circle Team. The Siberian country immediately disappears. Yup. And now there's also California, which is going to join the war on the side of. Oh yeah, we also see some fighting here. Like, yeah, it isn't going that great for Japan. You're actually surrounded. Like, I didn't realize they're surrounded. Like, bro. And yeah, it's a pretty bad situation. Luckily for them, Mongolia isn't as strong of a. Like, it's a bit unstable. Maybe they can do something to stop them. Who knows? Yeah, and then after that, Mongolia is going to take also. I'm not even daring to pronounce this thing. Yeah. To also take Vladivostok. It start marching into Korea. While Mongolia is a bit unstable, it's still a strong power and can still do good. If they're not fighting against the five different countries. Yeah, it's not a very good situation because China knew that this was going to happen and they immediately start to march into Mongolian territory. And yeah, this is how the war is playing out in Asia. But now we can see, let's see here where Catalonia decides to focus on the colony in the African colonies of Portugal. And yeah, this makes Catalonia lose a bit of, of land in Peru. like a bit of land. It's not that much, but Oh yeah, also this is going to happen. Not a really good thing. Also see the Dutch keep on advancing because the Japanese are focused on Asia, and yeah, not the best situation. Catalonia is focusing on Africa though, and they keep winning. Like they keep on doing good. They managed to cut off Morocco, which is a really good thing. They start to win in Africa. And yeah, it's really going like this. But also Kaliningrad it still is focusing the majority of their forces in Europe. And yeah, Hungary really cannot stand the strength of the strongest country in the world. I'm going to do power rankings after World War One, don't worry. But now, Pink Romania is here. Pink Romania. But they're focusing on Bari right now. The Dutch are keeping losing, like really bad. But then they decide to try to make a counter-offensive. And it has a small success. Yeah, this is how the fronts are playing out. Crimea managed though to make a counter-attack and to actually start winning their front. Because basically all of the republic are in this war are getting support. Whoa. And also the Dutch are going to send troops in other places in Chad. Exactly pretty good. It's totally going pretty good for Chad even if they're yeah, if the Dutch sent their full strength in Africa, Chad would have been defeated, but since they aren't, they are even. But now Japan sent their naval forces here. And since the Japanese navy is like the strongest in the world, Mongolia is getting destroyed. They stand no chance. Oh, it's a long gap. Oh, only 13 minutes, okay. Yeah, it's a pretty big attack. And also, we can see that yeah, also Korea, even though they're still getting defeated here. Yeah, it's but China managed to conquer another province. That's it for the Chinese front, really. Only one province. Yeah, it's not that much fighting there, probably. But now, there is actually something that is going to happen now. Something that could change the tides of the war. Scotland is angry. They see that Kaliningrad is distracted and they decide to support a rebellion and they decide to manage this decide to counterattack. They join the war on the side of the democracies because they were a republic last episode. They are still and they won because Kaliningrad had no troops there. Kaliningrad, they are pretty angry. Like, they didn't expect Scotland to join. But now there is another country which will decide to join. And that one, it's England. Because they want to show everyone their great power, and they're going to do this by beating the strongest countries in the world. Because they think Kaliningrad, the Dutch are the strongest alliance in the world, and they want to beat them. So they're going to send the troops. We know England isn't really a great power, but since it's basically distracted, this is going to change the tides of the war a bit. Like, yeah, the Dutch have already too many fronts. And they need an ally. They realize they need another ally, or they really can't win. So they ask Russia if they want to join. They're getting Ukraine in exchange. And the Crimea. Yeah, it's. But Russia doesn't really want to join, like. But they still do anyway. Because the war needs to get interesting. And yeah, Russia invades on Ukraine. She invades Crimea. Yeah, and they start by winning because Crimea didn't expect an attack by them. Since they were basically they were busy helping out France. But now we got a Kaliningrad troops storm in and decide to defeat Pink Romania first, while also doing some damage to Bari, which is also really fighting against the Dutch, like it's an even fight. But Kaliningrad, they're keeping on winning every single front. Yeah. But now let's go back to the fight in the Americas. Is it changing? Like, yeah. It's changing. The puppet state of Japan, they're getting defeated. Like, really. They almost done. They don't exist anymore. And now the Japanese colony isn't really going to tip. They're going to stop California though. And yeah, California was already a pretty not. They weren't that much rich. Like they fought a lot of wars. For this reason, Japan will manage to stop them. But they will not manage to stop Kaliningrad and the Dutch, which will keep storming in. And yeah, it's not a pretty good situation. But now Portugal decides to make a naval landing in Panama, getting the canal, which I don't know if it exists. Probably it does. Yeah, it's still going to get taken though. Oh yeah, there is the place at the border which is kind of impossible to take. So it probably will never get caught, but you know. But by the way, Portugal is absolutely going to attack. But then the Unitarian Republic of Chile realizes something. The democracies are losing. Like, they aren't doing that much good. They are losing. And if they keep on doing like this, they will probably end up losing. They need to win. the need for democracy to rule over the world. And for this reason, the Unitarian Republic of Chile decides to join the war on the side of the democracies. It's probably 1902, 3, I don't know. But they were going to make a really big impact because they trained for this. They knew that one day they had to fight a world war. Does this change something in Catalonia front? Well, Portugal invades the colony much faster, and that makes Portugal pretty unstable. And they also don't manage to capture the island. So yeah, something does indeed change. And also Catalonia, they are actually winning. Even though on the mainland Portugal managed to capture one province, it's a really back and forth here, like not that much advancement because the forces are even there. But now let's go back in India because the fighting. Yeah, Portugal has basically lost the entire colony. India is now it's much stable now that a lot of things happen to them. They are also very nationalistic and patriotic. The soldiers are willing to fight for the country, and they won. They defeated all of them. And with this, they can now send troops to fight against Mongolia. Which isn't it a good situation? They're losing all of the naval battles they fight. Every single one of them. Really bad. And so Japan established a naval blockade. There is a naval blockade on Mongolia, which really cripples the country. And after this chaos, and after also China is winning on them, and also Korea, it's starting to do something, even though they're still kind of losing against Mongolia, but it's an even front there. But now Mongolia, it's subtly thinking about surrendering because all of the ethnicities of the country, they are kind of exploding like really bad. People aren't happy with the government. People weren't really supporting the war. And yeah, another weak Asian state is here. And they're going to pull out of this war. The democracy has won in Asia. For real this time. Only Central China joins or something. But they really aren't interested. We're going to see the fate of Mongolia in the official peace treaty. Because they didn't collapse yet. And with this win, Japan can actually send troops here. And this will change something. Because California decides to surrender. And now it's time for the final fight. Like, they're still losing against the Dutch and Kaliningrad though. For now. Like, it's a really bad situation. Yeah, I told you guys this episode was going to be a long one. Here, we have Kaliningrad capturing another one. But finally the front is stalemated after the troops arrive. So maybe we can see the tides turning in America. But I wouldn't really know. Because it isn't good here. By the way, the borders are really bad. Like, yeah. So let's go back here because the Unitarian Republic of Chile has just supported a Catalonian rebellion against Portugal And in Peru, they're going to rise up. They didn't assimilate that well, and they're going to pop up some rebellions. Portugal is starting to realize that this war actually cannot be won because there are too much fronts, but they can still win. So they ask, they will ask the Asian League to make peace. They will give out all of their Asian colonies, and they're also going to give Morocco to Catalonia. But in exchange, they want all of the American colonies. The deal, actually, it's accepted. Like, yeah, Portugal is going to pull out of this war. And this is the result. The result of this. Like, they lost really a bit of land in Africa. There was some land in the borders, but nothing major. And yeah, the South American front, it's over. Like, yeah, it's officially over. But now let's go over here where the Dutch are really crippled. They're really distracted, but Kaliningrad started attacking to to the English. Also in the last episode I called England the United Kingdom. It's not the United Kingdom, they don't have Scotland yet. And yeah, for the first time in history, the the, the English and the Scots are fighting together. They're allies in this war. Weird thing, like no one expected this. Also, yeah, it's getting a bit long. You know what, guys? This is all for today. I will upload the second part probably tomorrow. See you guys there. The first part of World War I is over.